きてり込む手がぐらる閉じに身はやらせんでエレキキの酒この尻時のこれてモレジティの魂で明日の君きなけノクシェスワのエリだけ進め嘘ましめりもそれなり守りたい世界いやこうてて吠えてゆけ金がされも言わずつか燃える心は地もしょな近いコントロールをすげて守るような
Meanwhile, somewhere on Earth, the Z-Warriors were gathered and training under the watchful eye of Whis. Blast it! Did Kakarot actually go through this? Exclaimed Vegeta as he carried a kind of box tied to his forearms, which were extremely heavy for him, although he didn't know they adjusted to the maximum strength he could exert. This seems endless. We just covered 10 meters in 1 hour and 15 minutes, Tien remarked, making a huge effort to keep going. Ho ho ho, Mr. Goku has overcome all these physical and even more difficult workouts, but I can see that I'm not in charge of him anymore, said the latter in a whisper while looking at his staff out of the corner of his eye and saw Mew, Goku, Diana, and the children. First, he made us run and fight each other with very heavy weights on our arms and legs. If this will be the case every day, I hope we can survive, Piccolo commented seriously as he tried to overcome the Saiyan Prince, while the others gave their best effort. I can see that none of them give up, despite it being very difficult for them, but I must also say that they are moving at a slow pace compared to Mr. Goku, Whis thought while watching them train. Zeno-sama's palace. Diana, along with Goku, Mew and the children had incredibly arrived in Zeno-sama's room, surprising him, the guards, and Daishinkan. "Goku!" shouted the little god of everything with enormous joy as he rushed at incredible speed to hug him. "Zen-chan!" exclaimed the Saiyan before returning the hug. "How strange that Diana came unannounced," he said to the leader of the royal guard in a not very friendly tone. "Ha! Does my presence bother you? Gather everyone here to meet my grandchildren," Diana demanded of the high priest. "Your grandchildren?" exclaimed Daishinkan, directing his gaze at the children held in the arms of the goddess of the destruction of the Universe 7. "How is it going? They were finally born. Come on, I'll accompany you to look for them all," he said as he turned around to leave the huge room being followed by the high priest. Meanwhile, Goku played with Zeno-sama, and Mew, well, she was bored. She wanted all this to happen quickly so she could go to her mother's universe. In the other room, as soon as the high priest came out, Diana grabbed him by the neck, full of anger. "Listen to me well, you filth demon. You better start respecting me. This is the last warning I give you. The next time I will murder you in front of everyone, slowly and painfully," she said before throwing him to the ground. "Ha! And that if I am a demon. Does it bother you that I am a superior being while you are a simple human?" exclaimed Daishinkan, smiling maliciously. "Ha! I'm proud that my heart still has some humanity. Thanks to that, you're still alive. Now, let's go, Demon Lord. We must go to all the universes," Diana replied with a smile while creating a portal and then taking Daishinkan by the neck and then punching him hard in the face, making him enter through the portal, followed by her. Universe 1. On the planet of the Destroyer God, Iwen was with her angel Iwano, looking for any anomaly in their universe until a portal appeared in front of them, and from there, Daishinkan came out and crashed next to them. "Daishinkan-sama, exclaimed the destroyer god, quickly recomposing himself in order to help him. "Father, what happened?" exclaimed Wano when he saw the high priest bleeding from the nose. Diana stepped out of the portal, radiating an aura of supremacy that made the entire universe tremble. "What happens is that he does not respect his superiors. One more offense and he will be removed from his position," she said seriously in an authoritative tone. The angel, upon seeing the goddess, immediately knelt. "Lady Diana, we are honored by your visit," said Wano, head bowed. "I don't understand it. All I know is that she is Mu's mother," said the god, not understanding why his angel was kneeling before her and why Daishinkan was in that state. "Lord Ewin!" exclaimed his angel, directing his gaze at him, but before he could do anything else, Diana raised her hand, signaling him to calm down. "Ewin, right?" said Diana as she began walking towards him. "It's true that I am Mu's mother, but for that reason, haven't you wondered why Mu was the first goddess of destruction of her generation?" she asked with a small smile. Of our generation?" he asked in astonishment, stepping back with each step the goddess took towards him, while Daishinkan fell back to the ground, still numb from Diana's punch. Right. When you started your training for Destroyer God when the others were already with Mirai-sama. Listen, Ewin, Daishinkan has lied to you all this time," she said, smiling at him and looking sideways at the high priest. "Enough, Diana. They must not know any more. I even forbade the angels to talk to him about it," Daishinkan said as he stood up. "About what he's been lying to us about?" asked the Destroyer God with great curiosity. "Is Diana-sama sure to reveal such information? The current Destroyer Gods are not prepared for it. Only Mrs. Mu," commented Wano, earning the look of the white-haired woman. "You are right. You are not prepared yet. Well, changing the subject, you must immediately attend Zeno-sama's palace. Go to the Kaioshin, please," Diana asked kindly. "As you order, Diana-sama," replied the angel with enormous respect for her. The goddess went to the high priest and took him by the collar of his clothes. "Bye-bye, see you in a few minutes. Universe 2, here we go," she exclaimed before opening another portal and entering. "Ewin," called the Destroyer God, making the angel direct his gaze at him. "She spoke about our generation, so she was a goddess of destruction?" he asked seriously. "It's confidential. I'm sorry, Mr. Ewin," replied the angel, making the god sigh of defeat. 15 minutes later, Zeno-sama's palace. "Welcome, gods of destruction, dear angels and Kaioshin," Diana said with her arms open as Zeno-sama was next to her and imitated her movements. The angels and Kaioshin knelt down when they saw Diana appear next to Zeno-sama, while Daishinkan was in a corner. "Mrs. Diana, with all due respect, why did she summon us all? And by the way, where is Whis?" asked Vados kindly and respectfully. The angel, upon seeing the goddess, immediately knelt. "Lady Diana, we are honored by your visit," said Vados, head bowed. The named woman smiled faintly and then looked at the angel. "My dear Vados, first of all, Whis was exempt since I asked him a task that only he could do. And as for the others, I summoned everyone to give an important announcement," she finished with a tone of superiority. Vados nodded at the response and began to kneel, but Diana gestured for her not to do so. "Stand up and welcome the god of destruction of the Universe 7, along with her partner and children," she exclaimed joyfully. Everyone was surprised by what Diana said, and immediately the guards opened a door, and out came Goku in his classic gi, holding Gohan in his arms, while Miu was wearing her Destroyer Goddess outfit and carrying her daughter Mio. "Hello, everyone!" exclaimed the Saiyan, hugging everyone with his free hand, while Miu did the same, though reluctantly. "Children!" exclaimed Vermouth. "Have they already been born?" he shouted in an annoying tone, but Margarita gave him a little tap on the back of his neck and whispered, "Stop being resentful, okay? She voted him out millions of years ago, okay?" she whispered to the Destroyer God of Universe 11, but Margarita, who was not alone but had a hooded figure behind her and Margarita. "But, Mrs. Miu, I note you a bit different than a few months ago. This aura you emit, has it become stronger? She wondered to herself. As Mew and Goku moved to stand in front of Diana and Zeno-sama, some gods, along with the angels and Kaioshin, knelt down as a sign of respect. Among the destroyer gods were Ewin, Arak, Likir, Jean, and Sherez.
"You can stand up," Diana exclaimed, then glanced sideways at the hooded figure behind Vermouth. "Here are my grandchildren. They are Gohan and San Miyu," she shouted as she lifted them in her arms and showed them to everyone. Miyu stood beside her mother, then Goku, who carried Zeno-sama on his shoulders, stood next to his partner. "They are beautiful," Kus and Vados shouted, hearts in their eyes. "Gods, angels, and Kaioshins, all of you who want to hold them for a moment are welcome. But first, their godfather Zeno-sama will do it," Diana exclaimed, causing some gods like Champa and Quitella to nearly pop their eyes out in astonishment. "Here, be very careful or I'll give you a slap," Diana said, handing her grandchildren to the god of all. "Any words to say?" Zeno smiled when he saw the children's smiles and then raised his head. "When they grow up a little, I will go to visit them a lot, yes? So we can play a lot," he shouted with joy, as Goku hugged Miyu by the waist and she rested her head on the Saiyan's shoulder while they enjoyed the event. "Now you can carry them," Diana said, and as soon as she finished, Fords and Kus took one each, while the other angels and some gods waited for their turn. But suddenly, "Son Goku," called the hooded figure, "you are the evil that has begun an era of darkness, and it is my duty to defeat you," he exclaimed while throwing off his cloak. "Am I evil? Well, if you want to fight me, I'd be happy to, but don't talk nonsense," replied the Saiyan, approaching him under the attentive gaze of Miyu and Diana, who had one hand raised, allowing this. "Get ready. My duty as a warrior of justice is to ensure that evil does not triumph. I am Topo," he shouted, striking a strange pose. "So we'll fight here?" But he was about to say when suddenly a shield formed covering half of the room so they could fight, courtesy of Diana. "Here I go," shouted Topo, launching himself to attack while Goku got into a fighting stance. But suddenly, the Universe 11 warrior disappeared from his sight and then appeared in front of him. "Justice on," he shouted, lunging at Goku's shoulders, immobilizing him for a few seconds. "Justice Tornado," he shouted again before spinning over Goku and flying through the air, dizzying him, and finishing with a kick that made the Saiyan crash into the ground, breaking it a little. "Ah, that hurt," Goku said as he was getting back on his feet. "But now it's my turn," he shouted, transforming into a Super Saiyan, and in an instant he appeared in front of Topo and punched him hard in the face, sending him flying. But the Saiyan appeared above him and landed another blow, this time with both hands, smashing him into the ground and creating a small crater. "Evil will not triumph, that I can assure you, villain," Topo shouted as a red aura began to surround him. "Looks like you're getting serious," remarked Goku with a slight smile, and then the golden aura that surrounded him disappeared. "Justice Flash," Topo shouted, launching several energy balls at the Saiyan, who began to dodge them while running. "I got you, villain," he exclaimed, then appeared behind Goku to hug him and start applying force to crush his bones. "Ah!" the Saiyan screamed in pain, but despite the pain, he looked at his beloved Miyu, who smiled at him with a tender smile and then nodded. Crack, the sound of a bone being dislocated. Despite the pain, Goku closed his eyes and began to release an enormous amount of ki, breaking free from Topo's grip. Then he reacted quickly and launched a Kamehameha, pushing the Universe 11 warrior back several meters. Then he closed his eyes again as the golden aura disappeared. "Do you accept your fate, villain?" exclaimed Topo, before launching himself at Goku again, but he was surprised by the red aura that suddenly appeared, and his abdomen started to hurt. He spat blood as he looked down and was shocked to see the Saiyan's fist. Goku's hair had turned red, just like his eyes. "This is Super Saiyan God," he said to Topo, before punching him in the face and knocking him out.
It's the key of the gods, exclaimed Champa in surprise at feeling Goku's key, although he wasn't the only surprised. The others said nothing and simply kept the information to themselves. It can't be. Toppo shouldn't have been defeated. Damn you, Son Goku, shouted Vermouth angrily. Meanwhile, the Saiyan returned to his partner, who gave him a tender kiss. I like this look, she said playfully. I still don't master it well. Remember that it's the second time I've used it, he replied to Miyu. You will, don't worry, Diana said, approaching the couple. Go say goodbye, because we will leave in a few moments, she said kindly to both of them, and then returned with her grandchildren who were being carried by Liquier and Margarita. Goku, together with Miyu, began to say goodbye to Daishinkan, the guards, Zeno-sama, and then they started with the gods who hadn't moved and who had some resentment towards the goddess of destruction. But even if they didn't want to, they had to, as they were being watched by her mother. And something the angels told all their destroyer gods was, watch out for Lady Diana. Fortunately, everything went well. Vados, Kus, and Margarita congratulated the couple and also told them they would visit them regularly. Then, everyone returned to their universe at Diana's request. See you soon, Zeno. Be behaved, Diana said kindly to the little king of everything. Yes, send greetings to my sister, yes? He replied with a small smile. Your greetings will be given. Good, let's go, she said before creating another portal. Let's go, guys, she said to the couple, who said goodbye to Zeno-sama again and then entered the portal. Before entering, Diana looked at Daishinkan and whispered something that he could understand by reading the lips of the sky-eyed girl and made him tremble with fear. Then she left, and the portal closed. Miri-sama, he sees everything? Whispered Daishinkan with great fear. Unknown universe. The family appeared front of a house, a little away from a city. It was already night, and the starry sky illuminated much of the place, along with the waning moon. Where are we? Asked Miyu with curiosity. Is this Earth? Asked Goku, seeing and feeling so much similarity. Fufu, yes, I live on Earth, she concluded, and as soon as she did, 5 figures appeared kneeling before the family. Welcome to the universe, Mrs. Diana, exclaimed the girls. Oh, girls, just in time. Here are my daughter Miyu, my son-in-law, Son Goku, and my grandchildren, Son Miyu and Son Gohan, she shouted as she lifted them in her arms and showed them to everyone. The girls lifted their heads and looked at the family. A pleasure to meet you, they said in unison. Fufu, guys, these are the guardians I mentioned to you, she said, the light blue-eyed girl cheerfully, introducing each one. The pleasure is ours, exclaimed Goku and Miyu respectfully. The pink-haired girl looked at her goddess. My lady, we will leave her for today so she can spend time with her family, she said seriously, as she was the leader of the guardians. Diana walked up to her and gently stroked her hair. This action made Miku rut a little at the boldness of her goddess. All right, take the day off today. I want you here tomorrow while I go speak with Miri-sama, she said in an authoritative tone. Hi, as you order, Lady Diana, exclaimed the 5 of them, as if they were soldiers. You may leave, girls, the goddess commented, making the more guardians give a slight bow before disappearing. So, tomorrow you'll go see Miri-sama, Miyu remarked, looking at her mother. Yes, but it will be quick, don't worry. Well then, shall we go inside? She asked kindly, walking toward the house that was there. Goku raised an eyebrow. I thought that being someone so important, you would live well in a huge house, said the Saiyan with a bit of surprise to his mother-in-law. Fufu, you probably already know this, but it's not the size of the house you live in, but that you live with your loved ones, she replied with a slight smile, and then opened the door. I'm home. Mom, Dad, exclaimed the goddess, surrounded by a light and with a huge smile, while a little further away, Goku and Miyu could see how a man and a woman with silver white hair appeared and hugged a little Diana, and the father even carried her on his shoulders. This is what you meant, Mother, Miyu whispered, with a small smile but with a sad look, while Goku smiled wistfully and imagined himself being hugged by 2 people, one identical to him, and the other a light-skinned woman that looked at him with a face and a smile that made him feel that everything would be fine.